Hi, I'm Adam of Skill3 Gaming. Welcome to my latest video. It's the top 10 games of 2015. Huzzah! It's been a big year of gaming. Lots and lots of big name titles have come out this year. Very hard to decide a top 10. So many games considered, so many games left off. The one game that's not been considered, I will say this, is Destiny with the Taken King expansion, because technically not a new game, it was an expansion, even though they changed a lot of the original. It's the only game that would have been around this year that's not been considered. Even remakes are considered. So not remakes, remastered. But anyway, let's start with top 10. We start at number 10. It's Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Lots of hours played in the original Gears of War, and when I saw the remastered version, definitely got it. Especially because it came with 1, 2, 3 and Judgment for the backwards compatibility. Not so much Judgment, of course. This was Microsoft reminding people what Gears of War should be. We're not the ones that need reminding, they're the ones that need reminding after Judgment. Especially because Gears of War 4 next year is coming out. Am I excited for that? Definitely. If they go back to the old style of Gears and stay away from what they did in Judgment, it's going to be a huge success. I mean, what's not to love going around chainsawing through opponents constantly? And it's good multiplayer as well. Good cover shooter. Story's strong. And it's good to remember those old times of playing. Hopefully 4 will carry on of what Judgment should have been. At number 9, we have WWE 2K16. I'm a massive wrestling fan, of course, and this is the latest game. One out each year, of course. Last year was a massive letdown. The roster size was poor. The gameplay was repetitive, too repetitive. There wasn't putting enough variation in the match types. This year's a lot better. Biggest roster ever, however, not so many on the women's side of wrestling. They missed out the 4 horsewomen: Bayley, Charlotte, Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. Big 4 wrestlers this year. You know, they've been making big names for themselves and a lot of people's favourite. And 2K to miss them was a big disappointment. They'll be out in DLC eventually, but with a very limited women's wrestling on the game, it's a big hit, the fact that they're not there as well. Match types variant improved. Fantastic now with the story as well. That's something that again was poor last year. Gives you a lot more choice in what you can do. The only downside to this year's is the submission minigame. It's not very well thought out, I don't think. Other than that, it's a fantastic game. At number 8, we have Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Now, right at the beginning of the year, this is. Excuse me. I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. Dragon Ball Z. I've got the statue. This is before I started doing filming for YouTube. It's such a good spin. You're playing the regular story of Dragon Ball Z from beginning to end. Only you're Time Agent, and you're practically watching these events unfold, trying to keep them, making sure they stay the same because someone is trying to change that. It's got a lot of playability. We've been saying human, Namekian, Boo, Frieza. Also having different sexes, so you're not limited to just being a male, as a lot have. It's got a lot of creativity as well. Story, it plays really well as well. I'm hoping that the franchise is saved by us because the last couple of Dragon Ball Z games have been very poor. I've gotten them, not enjoyed them. This one, definitely right up there. At number 7, again, we've got another early year release. It's become one of my favourite Resident Evil games, Resident Evil Revelations 2. I was lucky enough to go to Capcom Towers and play this last Halloween, not this year, last year. I've got a hands-on experience there, one of the first people in the UK to, and I loved it. The last couple of Resident Evil games, a lot of people have criticised heavily. This one is just one of the best. It's probably second behind Resident Evil 4 for me. The story is just so strong. You know, it keeps you entwined in it. It's got a lot of callbacks as well for all the Resident Evil fans. You look at pieces of scraps of information you find, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember that from the old ones. Of course, if you don't know the entire Resident Evil story, it's not so bad. You're not missing much. It's just making you remember some of those old games, particularly later on in the game, I'm going to mention. And it's a nice twist in the end as well. What happens next? I don't know, but I'm excited for it. The next Resident Evil game in the storyline could be big. Really big, and I can't wait to play it. Number 6, this game ended the franchise of it. It's a big game. It's Batman Arkham Knight. It's so excited to have gotten this. I went out and got the limited edition PS4 Batman edition. There. And it was just such a good story. Nice way to round out the series. We know it's not going to be the last one from Rocksteady. We've seen them hiring for a new Arkham series. It's not going to be Batman. We know there's no more Batman Arkhams. Superman, Justice League, who knows? But it's got so much playability. The controls so nicely refined for the combat. The Batmobile, of course, big draw. Who doesn't love riding around in the Batmobile? And it was actually quite a sad ending. It put Batman through a lot of his past. And if you don't know the Batman story and played Arkham, you found out a lot of it and a lot of what he went through earlier on in Batman line. Number 5 now, we have Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Now, I haven't played Assassin's Creed since 3, which was an absolute nightmare. I hated 3. 4 didn't interest me at all, and well, it's not so much Assassin's Creed Unity, it's Assassin's Creed Glitchy. And I loved the series. I loved 1, I loved 2. It was such great games, and where they went with it, I didn't like it. It just pushed me away, essentially. I got my hands on Syndicate at EGX this year, played it, and actually enjoyed it. The controls is back to how I like playing, and well, based in London as well. And it's not just one assassin; it's 2 twin assassins, Evie and Jacob. This is the first mainline female assassin with Evie, and they're very good to play with. Quite different styles. People say Jacob brutal, but some of Evie's finishing, she's definitely the one I not want to mess with. Number 4 is again, it's another. It's the carry on from the reboot of a classic game series, one of my all-time favourite series, Rise of the Tomb Raider. I've played Lara Croft since 3. I loved them. I loved the reboot as well. I played it on the 360, and then when I played it on the Xbox One, it was just so different. It's the first game I played on the Xbox One, and the graphic changes was from the 360 to the One blew my mind. This time, Lara is kicking ass. She's not forced into any sort of situation. She's there of her own will. She's wanting to go exploring. She's wanting to go find these relics. She's wanting to be a Tomb Raider. And that's a crucial part, because a lot of the bad stuff people say about the reboot original was that there was no tombs anymore. They'd taken tombs out of Tomb Raider. Still not so much tombs this time. They're all completely optional, but they're there to go find. And it's such a beautiful story as well. We're seeing Lara grow. It's still a long way from where Tomb Raider started. This is a young Lara still. We're seeing her become into that legend. Hopefully soon we'll get some tombs. But Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics are doing a fantastic job with the reboot. I love playing it. I love going around doing all these collecting, crafting, finding the tombs. It's just a wonderful game to play and beautiful to look at. Number 3, we've got my all-time favourite game series. We've got the Xbox One edition of it as well, and the bonus other controller. It's Halo 5 Guardians. If you wonder what the other controller is, it's the Master Chief one to go along with the Spartan Lock. I've loved Halo since I played it. First one I played was 3, and quite frankly that's one of the best. I then went and played 1, 2, and the series just had me hooked. It's the first game I ever went on properly played online with as well, and I just love it. I can't say enough about how much I love Halo. All of them just fantastic stories. It's why I play it. A lot of shooters get repetitive quite a lot, and if you look at the Call of Duty series, it's something that doesn't focus on story, and it just has no interest with me, because I could go back and just keep playing older versions. I'm essentially playing the same game, but not with such good graphics. Halo doesn't do that. Halo gives you a story. It just pulls you into the story. And this time we're seeing Chief, the great hero, being humanised. And that's something people have had criticisms in the past of him not being human enough. But it was never a problem for me. It was always Cortana there. Of course, after the events of Halo 4, Cortana unfortunately died. However, it's just Halo is a series that can keep going. It keeps evolving because it keeps pumping out stories, and that's what the fans want. They can play any old shooter. There's plenty out there to choose from. Stories is why they keep playing it now. And it's just why I'll always love Halo. At number 2, that's right, 2. It was a very tough, these top 2. They're both absolutely fantastic games of fantastic series. This one just missed the cut. Just. By the fact it got a bit repetitive at times. It's Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. This is like to be Kojima's last ever Metal Gear Solid game after who knows what. We still don't know what's going on inside Konami with Kojima. There was a Games Awards show first week of December in LA, and Konami banned Kojima from going. So it's pretty much, this is Kojima's swan song for Metal Gear. It didn't disappoint. It's such a fantastic story, and I'm saying that it's a lot, but that's the things that keep pushing and pushing. It's why I play games. The stories are just beautiful, and you just get drawn into Metal Gear. I spend hours playing it, just roaming around, finishing all the little side quests, and I got the special edition of that as well. It's just, it's sad that this is Kojima's final game. It really is. We say that a lot about Metal Gear Solids, actually, but I think this time it's the end, and wherever he goes next, if he goes somewhere next, if he doesn't retire, because that man's got nothing to hide away from. He's accomplished so much, and if Metal Gear Solid is his last game, it's a hell of a last game. It's a big recommend, but it didn't come number one. Only one game could come number one. I'm quite sure it's obvious by now what's number one. It's Fallout 4. Fallout has just been a fantastic series. Bethesda outdo themselves each and every time. New Vegas may have been a slight exception, but it wasn't a mainline game. It was an expansion for free, really. It takes place during that same timeline as 3, just somewhere else. 4, this time you're able to speak properly, not just words across the line. You actually have a voice. You start before the war. You start before all the bombs drop, and you go and become a Vault Dweller. Things happen. I'm sure a lot of you know, because if you haven't played this, you've been living on a rock, or you're exceptionally unlucky, because this is just so expansive. It's the biggest map ever. There's so many side quests to go and get yourself lost in. This is before DLC. Bethesda have a great record with DLC as well, so whatever's coming soon is going to be fantastic. Everything in it is just so beautiful again. Not so many glitches as well, from what I've seen. Bethesda in the past put a game out and it's glitchy, very, very glitchy. This time they've gotten the game down. They've worked so hard, and they're one of my favourite studios because of Fallout. I'll always prefer Fallout over Elder Scrolls. I prefer the modern age technology over Elder Scrolls, especially Skyrim. I did think the inclusion of dragons was very good. I like them as a myth, not there, but that's a different matter. Fallout, it's got all the classic enemies, a lot stronger enemies now as well, lots of new technology to go out and find, crafting as well. You can build houses now. Again, it's just the amount of hours you can put into it, it's ridiculous, but it's going to live a lot longer because of it. Fallout 3 was one of my all-time top games. Fallout 4 could very well overtake it soon enough. I haven't finished it yet. No one can blame me for that. With all the games I've been playing recently, and well, with the amount of gameplay in Fallout, it just hasn't been feasible for me to finish. But this is it. This has been my top 10 games of 2015. we'll just go quickly through them again. At 10, it was Gears of War Ultimate Edition. At 9, WWE 2K16. At 8, Dragon Ball Xenoverse. At 7, it was Resident Evil Revelations 2. At 6 was Batman Arkham Knight. At 5 is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. At 4 it was Rise of the Tomb Raider. At 3 Halo 5 Guardians. At 2, unfortunately for them, it was Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain, and my all-time game of 2015 goes to Fallout 4. A lot of games was, let's say, considered. A few honourable mentions go to Forza 6. Once again, Forza 5 wasn't so good. 6 was brilliant again. Felt more like a driving game again. You could race feasibly. Didn't like the mods so much, but oh well. What other honourable mentions can I give? Can't think of it top of my head now. Oh well. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Please like my YouTube channel, the video. Facebook, of course, Skill Tree Gaming. Please go over there, follow me. Next video is going to be next year. Well, next me video anyway. Recently, Final Fantasy VII not the remake, the remastered Steam version came to PS4. I'm going to put some videos up for that of boss fights, because it's Final Fantasy VII. It's so hard not to love that game. It looks so nice now as well. But yeah, keep following me on Facebook. I have put out lots of statuses there. It'll say, give details of my next video. Look forward to 2016 gaming. Thanks for watching. Thanks for everything this year. Thank you. And goodbye.